shorty low, die shorty low.
Yeah, no, 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 yeah, no, 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 yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah.
Today I'm going to share with you guys my AncestryDNA results. I am getting more and more okay with them. I don't know. But basically I'm going to tell you the breakdown of my ancestry. So, 53% from Africa, so we are more than half. Is it, technically is that black? Is it African American? Within that 53%, I'm just going to name like the top ones and give a couple points about those places, because they're like trace regions, which basically it means you have a little bit from that area, but I'm not going to get into all that because there's a lot, so well, just too much for me to be doing right now. So the predominant one from Africa is Benin, Togo. That's 13%. Benin is just west of Nigeria. Togo's west of Benin, so that's where it's at on the map. This is based on the AncestryDNA website. I didn't go research. I mean, maybe I could, but I mean, you know, 13% of me, that's a decent amount, so maybe I will. But nonetheless, though tied closely together by history, geography, and region, the inhabitants of Benin and Togo are ethnically quite different. So more than 2 million slaves were sent from the Bight of Benin to the New World, and among them were many from Benin and Togo's major ethnic groups. A great number of these went to Haiti and Brazil, where they established their own traditional religious practices and ancestor worship, better known as voodoo. So I got that voodoo in me. I kind of knew that, but I didn't know where it came from. I'm just playing. My next highest percentage from Africa was 12%, and that is Cameroon and Congo. Although the Cameroon/Congo region is incredibly diverse with more than 200 different ethnic groups, our genetic profile for the region is primarily represented by samples from the Cameroon grasslands, where the largest populations are subgroups of the Bamalik and Bamam peoples. Pardon me if I've mispronounced those. The next highest percentage in Africa is 10% from Mali, and that's primarily Mali and Guinea. Mali's modern boundaries were drawn in 1890 when the French Sudan was created, and it united two very different regions. The Sudanian savannas in the south and the Sahara Desert to the north. So it's a multi-ethnic country of diverse peoples. Yeah, what else? For centuries, Mali was a fabled land of gold, scholarship, and empires. Fancy, fancy. And finally, with 8% out of Africa is Nigeria. It's the most populous country in Africa, with more than 168 million people living in a country about twice the size of California. Nigeria as a country is a concept and product of colonialism, bringing together more than 250 ethnic groups within fairly arbitrary borders. I also have some trace regions. There's about 4% from Senegal, 2% from Ivory Coast and Ghana, 2% North Africa, 1% Africa Southeastern Bantu, and less than 1% Africa South Central hunter-gatherers. That sounds pretty dope. So they test like different regions. They tested America for Native American and came back at 0%. They tested Asia, came back at 0%. They also tested Europe, that came back at 44%. So aside from Africa, that is my next highest kind of grouping as far as a region. So the first highest percentage in Europe is Ireland, and I'm 19% Irish apparently. So that contains Ireland, Wales, and Scotland. It's located near the eastern part of the North Atlantic Ocean, directly west of Great Britain. What else? You know, there's a lot about Ireland. All I really knew about was like the stereotypical stuff, like St. Patrick's Day is poppin'. Although I've never really like been to a St. Patrick's Day event or parade or whatever, but I guess now I'm entitled to show up and turn up. what's interesting, because I thought that was really high, like Ireland came in as like the top thing on my profile, and I was like, that's really weird. But apparently Irish people migrated a lot, so I guess it kind of makes sense. They're saying today it's estimated that up to 100 million people around the world can claim Irish heritage. So I guess I'm not really special. The next highest percentage was Europe West, and that came in at 16%. That sounds like a whole lot to me, but basically it's primarily Belgium, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Luxembourg, and Liechtenstein. It's also found in England, Denmark, Italy, Slovenia, and the Czech Republic. So 16% Europe West, Western European. Is that whatever? How do you say it? I don't know. But basically, I mean, that's pretty broad. That's a lot of countries. So let's see, what is somewhat significant? Beer gardens in Munich. So from about 8,000 to 6,000 years ago, these farmers filtered in through Turkey and brought them with wheat, cows, and pigs. And it's possible that these people could have been the megalithic cultures who erected enormous stone monuments like the famous Stonehenge. And then the trace regions I have from Europe include 4% Scandinavia, 2% Great Britain, 2% Finland, Northwest Russia, and 1% Iberian Peninsula. So, as I mentioned earlier, the main breakdown is 53% Africa and 44% Europe. So that's 97. So the remaining 3 consist of 2% Middle East. So that's primarily Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Oman, Yemen, United Arab Emirates, Lebanon, and Israel. So 2%, shout out to the Middle East. And less than 1% Pacific Islander, specifically Melanesia. So that's my ethnicity breakdown. I don't know, it's just interesting. It gives you a different perspective though. But it was cool. It was eye-opening, a little scary, a little disappointing when you think that you know what you are for so long and you just get slapped in the face one day and you're like, sorry, this is what you are. It's a little weird, but I'm actually glad I did it, and I encourage anyone who really is confused about their ancestry or who has doubts or just is curious to know, try it out, but be ready for the results. It might hit you harder than you think.